everyone, Karen Cecilia here. To all my viewers and my subscribers, I do realize that you're all getting very antsy because you have not heard from me in close to a week or a week, and you all have been saying as much that you are antsy about not hearing from me. Please don't lose heart about that. It's just that right now I truly have no comments that I want to make on anything that is going on around now. I have absolutely nothing to say, and if you follow me on social media, you will know that I don't say anything when I don't have anything to say. And mostly it's because sometimes I just don't feel the vibes to say or comment on any and everything. It's not me. It's not how I operate. But I appreciate the fact that you watch the videos. I truly appreciate your support and giving the videos likes and comments. And I hope you'll do the same thing to this one. Give it a big thumbs up, smash the button, mash it up, and send me a whole heap of comments that we can have conversation about. I truly do enjoy the conversations for those who we have long conversations with, or back and forth. But I want to talk about the PMP conference a little bit because I didn't sleep well Sunday night. We were up, a couple of us were up on the phone. Well, I was on Jamaica Politics Uncovered program until the wee hours of the night, and then we continued conversations into the wee hours of the morning outside of the program. And so I didn't get much sleep Sunday night because it is disturbing to me what I have seen about the PMP conference, and I want to talk about it. Now, the conference itself was a good conference. If it may well have been an excellent conference as well too. It was an excellent conference. It was well organized, well coordinated. The color scheme, the idea of it, you know, the theme of it. It was well thought out and well put together, and to a great extent well executed. There was a section of the program where they chose to highlight and honor Portia Simpson Miller, our beloved Portia, Mama P, and I thought that was an excellent idea as well. The people that chose to do the little synopsis and speeches to say something about Portia, I don't know what happened there. I would imagine that they would have said to them, listen, you and you, of the 21 women that are going to represent the party in the upcoming general elections, it is you three or you four that is going to say something about Portia. I would imagine that when they got that task, they would have gone out and did some serious research. Because everybody have this thing in them head that, yeah, Portia, we can just go on and talk and shoot the breeze and just talk off the top of our head. Not recognizing the importance and significance of the event. Not recognizing the importance and significance of what they have been asked to do. Nobody did any research. Everybody just come with something written on a piece of paper talking about how Portia talk about no boy and no girl. Some of the worst things that were some source of embarrassment to Portia in the past, or when those things were said, those are the things they came with. And I was just flabbergasted by it all. How could they not know that when they were given this task, they were supposed to go and do some simple research to come and big up Portia and highlight Portia, the importance of Portia in our movement, the importance of Portia as our first female prime minister, the importance of Portia on the international scene. How could they not have known that they must go out and do some research? They just think on the top of them head that, yeah, Portia did say that, I'm going to say that. Or, yeah, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to say that. I can't imagine that these are people who want to represent people in parliament. This is how you're going to operate if you should become parliamentarians and ask to go represent the country or represent the government or represent the party somewhere. You go with a piece of paper that you think you know something without actually doing the actual research and come back with something good. None of you could have gone and gotten that excerpt from Portia's first speech at the United Nations, where she talk about, she highlighted Tony Rebel's song, Be Careful How You Treat the Little Children, Teach the Little Children, and how the UN was, glued to what she was saying, or the women in the UN were so happy and glad to meet Portia and asked for the words, and Portia came and told us how they asked, and she had to give them the song or something to that effect. You couldn't find that? No, you couldn't go research and find that? You couldn't go research and find that Portia went down to Belgium and addressed a women's conference down in Belgium, talk about breaking that proverbial glass ceiling, talk about compassion, and talk about how women should step up and continue to serve and be in politics, and don't let the men them just run everything. None of them could find that. None of them could find anything like that. None of you could go back and talk about how when this country was being, when our children were being targeted by sick men who were murdering and raping our children were victims of gun violence and all kind of violence, and how Portia stepped up as the leader of the country, as the top female of the country, visiting the parents and talk to the parents and comfort young boys. And seriously, not one of you went and did any kind of research. Nothing. You just come with no baganize on a ray. No boy and no gal. That might be fodder. But at the time that it was said, and afterwards, weeks, months, it was an embarrassment. It was. Portia would tell you that it was. Anybody who was there at the time would tell you that it was. And some of you, in the case of some of you, like Doreen Forbes, you were there. It was fodder. It was political fodder. It was used to disparage Portia. It was used to demean her, to belittle her. And that is what you remember. That is what you brought to the conference for the hundreds of young people that were there, to tell them that is what Portia had said. That is what you want to send across. That is what you want to. That's the message. It was disappointing. I can't even tell you how disappointing it was to watch you all doing that crap. But it was very disappointing. The idea to do it was an excellent idea, but on a crap on it. On all crap on it. Come there with an excitement, trying to big up on your own self instead of focusing on the mission, the task that you were given to honor Portia. And instead of doing that, you come there try big up on yourself. How you don't look good. I try big up on the damn self and you don't look good. All you have to do is go there and talk about Portia. You know how good you look? Even though you look good, you look good if you go there and talk about Portia and how she's compassionate and kind. First female prime minister. How she captured the imagination of our young people, our musicians and entertainers and artists here and abroad. How they loved and respected her. You couldn't find nothing. It was a disgrace. All out that spoke about Portia, it's a damn disgrace. I hope you never open. Anyone who never open their mouth and talk about Portia again, I coming for you. Anyone who spoke at that conference ever open their mouth about Portia again, I coming for you. Because you don't have no respect for history. You don't have no respect for research. You don't have no respect for your damn self. I don't want to be members of parliament. You need to go wheel and come again. You need to go wheel and come again. But I big up the people who came up with the idea. It was a great idea. The conference was good. The attendance was good in the conference. I mean, the motivation and the enthusiasm gap is still low, based on the faces and the body language, and the camera people never do a lot of it. But when they do that thing where them go around the room, it is clear that the enthusiasm is really still low. And the motivation is really still low, but people turn out, and they were comfortable, and they were enjoying themselves, and they were observing and taking it all in. The younger ones as well, we're taking it all in. Mark Golding's speech was an excellently written speech, one of the best speeches that he has ever read or delivered. It was well written. Very well written. His delivery was a little shaky, but not as shaky as he usually was. It was a little bit more. He was a little bit more comfortable in his skin, delivering it, and even though he was still racing it, and the pause and the stops were still far and few in between. It was still a good speech, and he did his best to deliver it. And I don't feel no way saying that. It was a good speech, and it was delivered okay. The delivery was okayish. His speech also touch on some specifics, which is something that he has never done before. He has always been painting a broad picture of what his vision is. And but this one was specific. I have not had the opportunity yet to go through it one by one, which I will over the next couple of days. Each day I'll go through one or two, excuse me, and make my notes about what I think about one or two of it. But we will go through it one by one, both myself and Jamaica 411 and Jamaica Politics Uncovered. So it was a good speech, and I applaud it. And it appears that in the first 10-15 minutes people were listening, but in the usual form, people left the conference hall. The reason why it is a usual thing for people to the conference hall to get lighter when the leader of the party starts talking, but it don't usually get that light. It depends on who the leader is. I mean, had it been Peter Phillips or Portia Simpson, the lightness of it would have gotten light later on in the speech. But it got light early in Mark's speech, and that is an indication of that people feel that him boring, and his delivery will not motivate them, because him never have any punchline in it to keep them going. Ray, and if it had started with a first punchline for Ray, people might have sat down a little longer. But I'm not a speechwriter. I know how to deliver a speech and how to talk, but and what you need to put in it and inject in it. But still was a good speech. The specifics, as I said, was new, and that is also a good thing. It gives everybody an opportunity to go look at what I'm saying and dig down in it and cipher it out and see what is workable and what is not workable, because that's the nature of political speeches and political platform. Some things are workable, some are not, but them go up there, them say it anyway, because it sound good, it sound grandiose, and it sound like it can work at the time. So that was good. Then the whole conference itself on this Monday would have been, the laborites would be out and the detractors would have been out to find the faults of the conference and say what they believe it lacked, and what should have been and what should not have been. And it would have been usual political fodder for the detractors and the opposition. However, this morning, it's not that, because my phone started blowing up early yesterday after Vybz Kartel and Isaac Buchanan made an appearance not at the conference but on the platform on the stage of the People's National Party 86th Annual Conference. And that is where the conference fell down. And this one act now has the potential to overshadow just about everything else that happened at the conference. Because the Vybz Kartel Isaac Buchanan little 3-minute show was not something that should have hijacked the PNP conference, but it did. So I wonder whose bright idea this was. Whose idea was this? To hijack the PNP conference with an appearance from Vybz Kartel and Isaac Buchanan on the PNP stage, talking in the mic to the PNP people. Whose idea it was? And then I was told that there was an instance before the conference when somebody asked the General Secretary Dayton Campbell if Vybz Kartel is welcome or is invited to the country. I don't exactly know what the words were, what the question were, if it was either he was welcome or if he was invited. And that Dayton's response was, yes, everybody is invited. Yeah, man, he's invited, but everybody is invited. We welcome everybody, something like that. That would have been a good argument to make, to want to say that you are inclusive, and it is indeed a public conference. It's a public session. Anybody can come. Mr. and Mrs. Madman can come, Mr. and Mr. Criminal can come, Mr. and Mrs. Nobody can come because it's a public session. The doors open, people can walk in, anybody could go to the conference. But it's a lack of political experience in the position that he is in that would lead the General Secretary of the PMP to make such an open overture that Vybz Kartel is welcome and he can come. Now, to say that that is nothing, you are underestimating or misunderstanding what the impact of the words of a General Secretary of the PMP can be. But it's a lack of political experience. It's a lack of political experience by the entire leadership of the PMP, why they keep making these missteps and why they are going to be losing all the time. Because every time they make a step forward, they ended up with 6 and 7 steps backward. I can't imagine Maxine Henry Wilson saying anything like that, or Burchell Whiteman, or D.K. Duncan, or even Julian Robinson. I can't imagine any one of our past General Secretary making a statement like that. They would have, based on their political experience, would have found a diplomatic way to say the conference is a public session without actually saying Vybz Kartel is welcome and yes, him should come. Because that is just not something you say as a result of who Vybz Kartel is and what the situation and the controversy surrounding him is. That is just not something that you would say. And it could be chalked up to some kind of desperation on the part of the leadership of the PMP to prove themselves or to get some one-upman thing, and that desperation is leading them down some various rabbit holes, which they find themselves going deeper and deeper in. So let me be clear about something so that you can understand where I'm going with this. I have no issue with Vybz Kartel. I don't know the gentleman. I don't know any of his songs. I don't know one Vybz Kartel song. If somebody should tell me that Vybz Kartel sing a song, I don't know. I know Drake songs them. I know Kendrick Lamar songs. I'm sorry, but I don't know no Vybz Kartel song. I know a lot of Bob Marley songs, but I'm not a fan of Bob Marley. I'm not a fan of Vybz Kartel. I am not a fan of most dancehall. Just not. If I hear a song and it sounds good, I will probably rock to the beat and everybody know I can dance. And probably if I hear the words of a Bob Marley song, I sing it. I have 2 Bob Marley albums, Exodus and one next one, remember. But I have 2. And so there's no personal angst here with me and Vybz Kartel. I have no issue with him being at the PMP conference. But here's the thing, and let me be clear without any kind of animus towards Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel was set free by the Privy Council. He was set free by the Privy Council because the Privy Council found in its review of his case that the prosecution in his case in Jamaica tainted the process. The process was greatly interfered with and tainted. Maybe in those evidence that they found that the process was tainted was also evidence that Peter Bunting himself, who was the Minister of National Security at the time, was out in the public sphere talking about the case and talking about Vybz Kartel in a negative way, which would have influenced and impacted any jury. And a matter of fact, around the world, it would have been considered jury tampering, because the minister himself was out there talking all kind of crap about Vybz Kartel, putting out all kinds of things. Mark Golding had said 1 and 2 things too, I do believe. And both the Minister of National Security and the Minister of Justice was out there making comments about the case that they should not have been making, and that could have and would have influenced jury in the jury, because our jury pool is small. We're a small country. So maybe the Privy Council saw all of that and decided that they are going to overturn the verdict on the basis of that one technicality, that he was treated unfairly because the process itself was tainted. That was the technicality on which they threw out the case against him. But let me remind you that Vybz Kartel was arrested and charged and tried and found guilty by a jury of his peers for the murder of somebody named Lizard. The Privy Council did not say that we are overturning this case because he is innocent or there is evidence that he did not do it. They could have if they saw that evidence. But apparently, the evidence against Vibe Cartel in that case is overwhelming to the fact that he did it. That's what the evidence say. That's what the jury concluded. And the Privy Council say, yeah, it is. He's guilty, but wanna fuck it up. So we're going to set him free. So people must understand that. There's a difference. That he is still a man that was charged, locked up, tried, found guilty, and sentenced. Found guilty by a jury of his peers and sentenced to prison for a crime that the jury found that he committed. He's free now on the technicality of the prosecution and the Jamaican judiciary system fucking it up. So there you go. This People's National Party, as an opposition party, wants to gain government. And wanting to gain government means that they have to put out policy positions to say, this is what we will do. One of those policy positions also include this one about crime. Not that anybody can solve crime. None of them can solve crime. No amount of crime program and crime policy. Them can't solve it. Because them approaching it wrong. You can't solve something that you don't know what it is. Which is why we're failing at crime. Because them don't understand it. Them don't know what it is. Them don't know what the root of it is. And they are the leaders and they should. Because we know what the root of it is. It's poverty. It's lack of education. But them don't know that. But in doing so, you have to put forward also a crime plan. And it doesn't bode well for you as a political party to be putting forward a crime plan and having criminals on your platform at the same time. And I can't imagine what Norman Manley was thinking when he was in that arena on Sunday. Because I'm sure Norman Manley is in the arena every Sunday, every conference. And Michael Manley must have been hopping mad. Maybe some chairs was pitching over in there in the conference hall. Michael Manley must have been hopping mad. I can't imagine PJ being told that this is what happening and what him saying to himself or saying to his advisors at him yard or wherever he is. On the same stage that just moments or half an hour or maybe 45 minutes before that Peter Phillips spoke on. Christ in heaven, don't you get it? That this no good? This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. It was never a good idea. The conference is a public session. Vibes Cartel can show up. Anybody can show up. And they're at the conference. But to afford him a platform in front of the microphone, talking to the PNP delegates who have the responsibility to go back to their communities, go convince people that conference was good and Mark G have a good plan and make go vote for him. They might go and go tell people the Vibes Cartel was there. They might go home and the people who are home watching it and them have conversation about Vibes Cartel being there and Vibes Cartel being on the stage and Vibes Cartel saying something in the mic. That's all they'll be talking about for the rest of this damn year, leading up to him concert in December. That's all they'll be talking about. Nobody remembers anything that Mark did or anything did with Portia. It's the whole Vibes Cartel thing that's going to dominate the conversations in the communities going forward. Yes. And what they will discover, and you eventually also, the PNP, will discover, is that not many people are going to like it. Not many people are going to sanction it and big it up when they don't understand the Jamaican public, when they don't understand the voting public, and it's a lack of experience politically. Why they don't get it? There are hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans who are going to say, that is not a good thing. That was not a good idea. And then there will be a group of people who will also say, both Vibes Cartel and Buju burn out politics throughout their career. Very creative, very, very, very talented musicians and artists that they are. And in many of their songs, them burn out politics. When somebody said that to me, say, send me one. And them send me several. Them burn out politics, burn out the leaders, and call them all kind of things. And yet, within the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, all of a sudden, Buju went and served a prison sentence for drug-related crimes in the U.S. Vybz Kartel served a prison sentence for murder. And all of a sudden, both of them appearing at the PNP conference for acceptance, for forgiveness, for trying to ingratiate themselves in the political sphere. For what I don't know, but based on what I would know about a little psychology, is that they feel tainted, they feel wronged, they feel like they need something, they need some kind of validation for people to tell them that they are still who they are, even though they did this thing and they served this time in jail, in prison. They need something, and they feel that the best place to get that something, apart from the people who love them and go to them shows, is through the political arena. And so now criminals showing up at the PNP conference for validation and for love and for acceptance in the hierarchy of our political parties, or the hierarchy of our political discourse. That is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. Had Buju not been sent to prison, he probably would have still be a PNP but wouldn't have shown up at conference. Had Vybz Kartel not been found guilty of murder and sent to prison, he probably would have still be PNP too, but wouldn't show up at conference. But this was important to him, as was it as well important to him, lawyer, who also want political power. And Isaac Buchanan is still a young fellow who trying to find him foot. But when young people like him, professionals who are talented and get and have a little bit of fame, which is not really hard earned, but that come to them through their own talents, they tend to believe that they are invincible and tend to believe that they are above reproach and everybody should accept them and they can be anything and do anything. It is a deficit in the behavior of most young professionals. They behave like that, particularly people in the legal profession. They do behave like that. And his pathway, I am sad to say, has always been paved with a lot of pebbles, and him fall over a lot, and him drop in pits a lot, and he make a lot of mistakes, and he will continue to do so until him learn that this is not how things work, and this is not how the world runs, and this is not how you should behave as a young man, a talented young man with a whole heap of promise, and could possibly serve this country in some capacity. But him have to learn to tone it down and back it down and wheel and come and reinvent himself several times, because they have already developed a reputation. The voters of this country are not stupid, but apparently only think that they are, but they're not stupid. And there will be conversations around this move of having Vybz Kartel on the PNP stage talking something. You don't know what exactly him say, but talk something. Or Isaac Buchanan talk something, or whatever it is that they did. Wrapped up in a handkerchief, hiding him face. The look, the optics is disconcerting. It is very, very, very disconcerting, the optics of just that. So you come out of an excellent conference tarnished by this, and you never saw it. And you never saw it because of your lack of political experience, and because you think that you can do it by yourself, so you don't seek political advice. That somebody should tell you, don't do that. You can't. And the General Secretary utterances, because him is a man on a frolic, he's a man on a frolic of his own, saying the damn thing he want, and him in front of a microphone, him just make policy and rules on his own, ones that microphone in him face. Them say something to him and suddenly make a rule by just saying it. Because if this was a microphone in front of him and somebody asked him if Vibes Cartel is invited or coming to the conference, and him open his mouth and say that, him just validate that, him just signature that. Him never have the good sense to say, well, there's a public session of our conference, and I mean, the public is invited to the conference, so we don't really give out invitation or particular invite to particular people to come to conference. The public is invited to the conference. Him never know how to put that, and how to say that, because him giddy and inexperienced and making it up as he goes along. And that is what happens when you make up things as you go along. In politics, you don't make up things as you go along. You have it clear in your head. And you don't have to answer a question as it comes to you. You can take the time to think about it. Or you can say, I don't have an answer for that right now, but I could get back to you on it. You can say that. Why you think you can't say that? Because you're stupid. Because you think that you are some kind, you reach and you arrive. And you're in charge of something. And that is what gets you into trouble. And so, that is what this is all about. I don't want to take too much time with this. I wanted to say something about Chief Curry. I think he's just a charlatan and a grifter who vex because Andrew Oldis now give him what he want. So him decide that him running back to the arms of the white man. The same white man that his ancestors sold out the country to. The Maroons in Akompong are descendants of the same Maroons that bolted on Nanny and Taki and decided to go make a deal with the British for them 500 acres of land and for them own anatomy and for them own them can have them own country down there. So they made that deal with the British while Nanny and Taki and the others were fighting for the freedom of us all. Them go make a deal and separate themselves and have them own thing going. And hundreds of years later, them still doing that. Them still doing that. He's a descendant of the people who did that, and him doing that. I'm not doing it for the community that he represents and leads. He's doing it for his own personal thing because he feels slighted. His ego is leading him. So his ego take him to Mark Golding because Andrew Olding is now angling right. And him gone to Marky G. And if Andrew Olding should start treating him right, I have no doubt him bolt for Marky G. That is the history of their compound Maroons. Of selling out. That's what their history is. And Chief Curry, when he came on the scene, everybody go crazy over him. The girls were going lala over him. Everybody saw him as a probably a future leader, in some capacity as the country. But as usual, when them young and inexperienced and people give them power without them earning it, this is what happens. It can't go any better. This will always happen when you take power and give it to young, inexperienced, charlatan young people who believe that somebody need to give them something and they're entitled to something. They're bound to fuck it up. And his ending is not going to be good. His ending not going to be nice. Because he does not enjoy 100% support from the Maroon in a compound. I mean, there's a good chunk of them would like to throw him out. And I'm sure that at some point, they might be successful in throwing him out. So him turn up and was given a platform where in its hundreds of years of history, you see the Maroon on a political platform advocating for one political party over the next. When they were showcasing themselves as unifiers and showcasing themselves as being different from the political discourse of the country. And could possibly be the one group of people that the country could look to and say, well, them man and I support the politics. Now, him can't say that now. Him gone full Monty politics. Where has this ever happened? Never. Have been to the Maroon Festival in Portland and St. Mary several times. I've never seen any of them on any political platform. And many of them are PMP, many of them are GLP too. But this is what he does. So the two of them being at the conference and being given prime time highlight is what makes an otherwise good conference not so good. So now, nobody not talking about the speech that Mark Golding gave and the specifics that he laid out. None of them never remember one of the things that him said. Not a soul. And I'm going to call around people. I hope I get to call them before this reach them, so them can't tell me a lie. Them can't go look it up. I want to surprise them. I'm going to call them around. So I never get them, so I'm going to call them. I'm going to ask them, what did Mark say yesterday? Because all of them will remember that Cartel came, and Chief Curry came, and Isaac Buchanan, and them went on the stage, and them chat some crap, and whatever. And that was the highlight of the otherwise would have been, could have been, excellent showcase of a conference. And so, this is what I have to say. To my viewers and subscribers, please, don't get angry with me and don't get antsy when you don't hear from me. I just think I just stepping away from it a little bit. All right? Just stepping away a little bit. So, don't bother get funny about it. Go like the videos, go send out your comments. All right? And maybe I'll see you soon. If the vibe kick in and there's something to say, maybe I'll see you soon. Thank you all for listening to my rant. All right? God bless you all. Stay safe, everybody, and please do keep the children safe.